At the base of a green hill bordered by a thick forest where tall trees whispered in the wind, there lay a small, quiet village. The people there lived simple lives. Most were farmers, laborers, or tradesmen who worked hard every day just to bring food to the table. Among them lived a middle-aged man named Mr. Adam. His life was not an easy one. He struggled constantly with money and owned little more than a small piece of land, a modest hut, and a few tools. Yet despite his poverty, he carried something precious within him: contentment. He had a rare quality: he never complained. For Mr. Adam, being able to share 2 meals a day with his son was already a blessing. Unlike many of his neighbors who often grumbled about their misfortunes, he seemed to accept life as it came, with peace and quiet dignity. His only family was his teenage son, Daniel, a boy full of energy and curiosity. Together they worked tirelessly on their little farm. But they were not alone in their struggle. There was also Max, their strong white horse. Max was not an ordinary horse. His white coat shone in the sunlight like polished silver, and his eyes seemed to reflect intelligence beyond that of other animals. He was fast, hardworking, and clever. With Max's help, the farm flourished far more than it would have otherwise. For Mr. Adam and Daniel, Max was not just a farm animal, he was family. Daniel often whispered to Max as though speaking to a brother, and Max would neigh softly in return, as if understanding every word. News of Max's beauty and strength spread beyond the village until it reached the ears of a wealthy city merchant named Mr. Smith. One day, Smith arrived at the village with his son to see the horse for himself. The moment he laid eyes on Max, he was astonished. Never had he seen such a majestic and capable animal. He immediately offered Mr. Adam a large sum of money to buy Max. The villagers expected Adam to accept without hesitation. After all, he was poor. With that money, he could have built a better house, bought more land, and lived comfortably. But to everyone's surprise, Mr. Adam shook his head gently and refused. "Thank you for your offer," he said kindly, "but Max is not for sale. He is part of our family." The villagers were shocked. Some even laughed at him. "Adam is a fool," they whispered. "He turned down such a fortune, he will die poor." But Adam did not argue. He simply smiled, as though he knew something they did not. A few days later, something strange happened. One morning, Max was gone. His stable was empty, and there was no sign of him anywhere. Daniel and his father searched the fields and the forest all day, but Max had vanished without a trace. The villagers wasted no time. They mocked Adam even more. "See," they said, "he wasn't even worthy of keeping such a valuable horse. He could have sold him for riches, but now he has nothing." Some even suspected Mr. Smith had sent men to steal Max. Daniel was heartbroken. He loved Max deeply, and the thought of losing him forever was unbearable. He asked his father, "Dad, why are you so calm? We lost something so precious. How can you just smile?" Adam looked at his son with gentle eyes and replied, "My son, do not rush to call this bad. There is both good and bad in everything. Time will reveal what this truly means." Daniel didn't understand. To him, losing Max was clearly a disaster. He thought maybe his father was just hiding his sadness. But a few days later, the impossible happened. While working in the field one morning, Daniel suddenly shouted, "Dad, look!" There, walking gracefully back into the farm, was Max. But he was not alone. Behind him trotted 5 wild horses, strong, beautiful creatures he had apparently brought from the forest. The villagers were stunned when they heard the news. The same people who had mocked Adam now crowded around, calling him the luckiest man in the village. "See how fortune favors him," they exclaimed. "His horse disappeared only to return with more. Adam is truly blessed." But Adam did not celebrate. He simply smiled the same calm smile and said, "Perhaps Max went to find his herd. Now he has returned with them. Let us see what time will bring." Daniel, however, was excited. He spent hours each day trying to tame the wild horses, teaching them to carry loads and allowing villagers to ride them. Then misfortune struck again. One of the wild horses threw Daniel off violently during training, and he fell hard, breaking his leg. The villagers shook their heads once more. "These horses are a curse," they muttered. If Adam hadn't refused the rich man's offer, his son would not be suffering now. Daniel lay in bed, his leg wrapped in bandages, pain etched on his face. He turned to his father and said bitterly, "This time, Dad, something truly bad has happened. How can you say otherwise?" But Adam, sitting calmly beside him, said, "Son, good or bad, those words are too small for life's mysteries. Time will tell what this broken leg truly means." Only a week later, the sound of drums echoed through the village. Messengers from the government announced that war had broken out. Every able-bodied young man in the village was required to join the army immediately. Fear and sorrow swept through the village. Families wept as their sons were taken away. Mothers clung to their children, fathers stared helplessly, and young men marched with heavy steps toward an uncertain fate. But Daniel was spared. His broken leg made him unfit for battle. Days turned into weeks, and soon the heartbreaking news began to return. Many of the village boys had died in the war. Their families were crushed with grief. The same villagers who once mocked Adam now came to him, tears streaming down their faces. "You are so fortunate, Adam," they cried. "Your son survived while we lost ours." Adam, sitting quietly beside Daniel, whispered to his son, "Do you see now? Losing Max seemed bad, but he returned with more. Breaking your leg seemed tragic, but it saved your life. Good or bad, such words are not for us to decide too quickly. Only time reveals the truth." From that moment, Daniel understood his father's wisdom. Life could not be judged by single events. Joy and sorrow, gain and loss, success and failure, all were threads woven together in a larger design that only God could see. Adam told him, "That is why, son, when something good happens, don't become too proud. And when something bad happens, don't be crushed. Be patient, be thankful, and keep your faith. For everything happens for a reason, even if we cannot understand it now." The story of Adam, Daniel, and Max is more than just a tale about a farmer and his horse. It is a reminder for all of us. When life feels unfair, when struggles overwhelm us, when blessings make us proud, we must remember, nothing is permanent. Both joy and sorrow will pass. Only faith, patience, and gratitude will keep us steady through every season. So the next time you lose something valuable, or when pain enters your life, remember Adam's calm wisdom. Good or bad, only time will tell.